Hi everyone, thank you for joining Outdoor Dad 1. We're going to have a look at the Zoli M Sport today. Like and subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, so we've got the Zoli. So let's have a look inside this Negrini air transportable case at the Zoli. Now this is actually my gun. This is what I ended up choosing. So we've got these lovely socks on the stocks and the barrels. We've got a key to undo the stock. We've got a key for the trigger assembly, which is removable on the M Sport Zoli. Now in here we have got some absolutely lovely blued firing pin springs. So we've got a spare set of firing pin springs or main springs. We've got the trigger, Allen key for altering the adjustable trigger, and we've got these little beautiful things. You know, I'm not even going to get them out. Oh no, I am going to get them out. Hold on a minute. They're quite a nice fit. Just use this Allen key just to pop one out there, look. Ooh, there we go. Now look at this lovely little firing pin assembly. So, here we've got the hardened firing pin. It's just one of the main features of a Zoli, this. Here we've got a spring. Now that stops the pins from sticking out into the action. And this tiny little bushing here is just a piece of softer steel, so the action are hardened on a Zoli, very strong action, very strong block, monolithic construction, all out of one billet, and this, it basically is just to take a little bit of the shock out of those when the firing pin's going forward. Very clever design. Pop that back in there. So we've got a spare set of those. High-end gun, I suppose, really. That's what you'd expect. And we've got our choke key and some flush fit chokes. Steel chokes. You can get titanium Zoli chokes. I just got myself a couple of Teagues because that's what I like. Could have had titanium Zoli chokes. A nice key which also has a thread cleaner on it in its box. So these two boxes I normally take with me in my little bag when I go shooting, in my cartridge bag, in case I was to have any problems. It would seem a bit foolish to have them in the old case at home. But I doubt we'll ever need those. Right then, so let's have a look. Velcroed in here into this lovely little sock. Here we go. M Sport, Monte Carlo stock, matte black action, very durable, non-reflective, and also when we get to the barrel end, take off that lovely, we've got the midrib, which is one of the reasons I chose to purchase this Zoli. There she is. So that's midrib, Monte Carlo stock, and matte black finish on the barrels. Let's put it together. Get rid of that. Nice forend. Not too bulky, just the right size, I think. Not that slim. It's nice for a slim one on a game gun, but a nice and not a bad piece of wood. I think you'll agree with me on that. So I've gone for a set of 30-inch barrels with this mid-rib narrow into the end, and it is an absolutely beautiful sight picture. We've got a little mid bead on here, nice fluorescent LPA foresight. I've gone for a set of vented titanium teague chokes. You can get the titanium Zoli chokes, which I believe are very good. They're not vented, so I decided I wanted these. I wanted to put a bit more of the weight to the rear of the gun, so by putting in a light choke, if you can imagine, if these chokes are steel, they're quite heavy at the end of the gun. So if I want to move the weight back and I swap a light choke in, and that puts some weight towards the rear of the gun. If I had extended steel chokes, then obviously that would counter that. I don't know if you can see this, but we've got this lovely finish, very durable. The rib has got like a machine sort of, I don't know what you'd call it really, sort of cuts in each direction, which is really, really pretty. Not too rough, doesn't pull my gun bag to pieces, and eliminates glare. Yeah, very nice. We've got the Boss style locking system. She's hinging on trunnions, and we've got the recoil shoulders here on the bottom. Got a very nice simple ejectors, which is what we want. We want reliable ejection. Ventilated mid-rib, ventilated step-up top rib. Look at that. Lovely. Right, let's clip it together. Here we are. So, starting at the back, we've got this sort of trap style, really nice, squishy. Really like these style pads. They are like an old track pad, but it doesn't snag on my vest, whatever I'm wearing. It's a nice shape, and it really, yeah, it's really nice and absorbent. And then I think we've got quite a nice piece of wood here. So when I ordered this gun, I asked them, like I do, said, have you got a couple in stock? Can I have a look at the wood, and then I can choose the one that I want, basically. So out of, I can't remember how many it was, quite a few 30-inch ones that they had in. There wasn't a lot of these made, I don't think. And this is kind of an entry-level gun for Zoli. They only do the one action design, so even if you spend £20,000, you're still pretty much on the same action. Yeah, so I think that's quite a nice piece of wood for a clay gun. Just a little bit of figuring, not a blow your socks off one, but capable of taking plenty of recoil. And yeah, and we've got the Monte Carlo stock. Now, I've noticed over the years that I've got a little bit of a tendency to tilt my head onto the stock, which is one of the reasons that I went for a Monte Carlo. But I do find that shooting a step-up rib gun, I find that I can pick up targets easier. It gives me a better field of vision, whether shooting both eyes open or not. I think yeah, we'll see a lot more of this. I think it is the future with the step up ribs and the adjustable ribs. I think we'll see more of them in sporting shooting. But yeah, so we've got this nice piece of wood. We've got a lovely, you know, your usual easy to operate Allen key wrench in there. We can adjust the stock up and down, left and right, get it where we want it, see how much rib you want to see and so on. I have this shooting quite flat, so just because it's got a step up rib and a higher rib, it doesn't mean that you have to have it pointing at the stratosphere. We can adjust it with the comb, you know, to point of aim. When I'm doing that, oh, I should have fetched one, I'll show you later. I tend to use a little laser. It's like a cartridge with a laser in the middle of it, and I drop that in the top barrel, and I just use it for a bit of a guide really. I can drop it in the gun, turn it on and point the gun, and I've got a good idea where I'm at, point of aim. Just a little tip if ever you want to try it. They're not dear, they're about £12 or something. It's just a little laser that goes in. Yeah, so what have we got here? We've got some nice laser cut checkering. We've even got a little bit of checkering up here on the top. And the palm swell. Oh yeah. So the palm swell I find on this gun is just right. It's quite large. I think it's possibly a smidge bigger than on my Yildix. A really nice shape, really fills the hand nice. Yeah. Quite a steep radius in the pistol grip. Like I say, a really decent amount of swell, palm swell. And the grip's long enough so your hand's not hanging off like the bottom of the gun. We've got an adjustable trigger on this gun. So this gun cost me 4,700 English pounds. Yeah. And that actually came, they did me a bit of a deal, no extra charge for the titanium nitrided upgrade in the triggers. So inside the trigger assembly, the gold nitrided titanium coated, it's a durability coating, so I'll show you that later on. So that's an upgrade, so it's got the upgraded components inside the gun for me, which you can have on any Zoli. And I chose to have it. Comes with a 10-year warranty. Yeah, I've had this gun 12 months now, and yeah, I really like it. I don't know if you can see here on the top of the action. It's really nicely. The machining on the Zoli is fantastic, and where it's cut away on the fences is really pretty. And we've got this lovely stippling along the top of the action with a mat on it. And obviously that's to take away glare, aid target acquisition. All works really well with the higher rib. And that's just really neat. It's pronounced enough. Top lever, a nice top lever, a decent length. Easy to open and close. I know that some guns, when they come new, by Jove, you've got a job to open them. Yeah, this is absolutely lovely. So we've got a little bit of cross hatching on this side of the top lever. A nice sleek top lever. It's a lovely sleek action. I mean, I'm going to call this sort of like the Parazzi action. When you're on a boss type locking bolt. All of these guns, I think I've got a bit of a nod in that direction. Yeah, but yeah, the fence is really nice. We've got Zoli here, inlaid in gold. We've got some slight border engraving. Metal to metal fit is lovely, as you'd expect on a gun of this price point. So I'm going to say that this is like a top level competition gun. I'm going to say the Yildix Pro that I reviewed earlier is your entry level gun. All of these guns are available second hand. You don't have to buy them new. There's lots of deals to be had out there if you're getting into shooting, and that's a brilliant idea. Good for everyone. More of us the better. Yeah, so I'm going to say that this is a mid-price point gun, but very much a serious competition gun. And then obviously, once you start getting up to the £12,000 plus mark in the UK, originally I had a Blazer for a very short period of time that I quite liked, and that was 8.5. Yeah, you're sort of heading towards the £10,000 mark with the Blazers and the Kriegoffs. I think they're probably starting now at about 13 for a plain action one. So obviously they're like double again what this is. So this is sort of your Browning 825, which wasn't out when I bought this, and your Beretta 694. Caesar Guerini Invictus action guns, Caesar Guerinis. So they're all around this price point. And obviously I could have chose those, a Beretta or a Guerini. I don't think I'd have chose the Browning at the point because the 825 isn't out, which is a lovely gun with lovely triggers. You know, and I certainly would have, that would have been in contention before I purchased this Zoli. But obviously when you're trying a gun out, it's the way it feels. Does it feel right to you? And obviously when I got this gun out, I'd shot a very similar action style, a similar gun for 12 months solid in the Yildits, and I found this very easy to shoot. Yeah, it's a nice thing. So we've got really nice wood to metal fit. We've got a really nice sleek safety catch, and we've got a gold S on there. We've got dots to signify which barrel we're firing first. Here we have the famous Zoli trigger, which is a really nice design, nice ergonomic shape. And I don't know if you can see it there, but we've got the orifice for the Allen key to detach the locks. Detachable locks, not quick detachable locks, but detachable. Quick detachable locks. Yeah, it's nice. How often are you going to really be wanting to pop them in and out? Hopefully not all that often. But I thought the ability to take your locks out without taking the stock off, on occasion, say I went out with this gun and it hammered it down, like it does sometimes, and it got absolutely soaked. I can take the trigger unit out of this, give it a wipe down, give it a spray with some nice oil, pop it back in. Really nice. I think it's a good idea. So we'll take that out later. Yeah, so we've got lovely soft recoil pad, trap style. We've got this Monte Carlo stock, which I'm really into at the moment. Keeps my head a bit more upright, sort of stops me from tilting it over. Also the mid-bead. Found the mid-bead helps me with that. So if I tilt my head, it tends to knock I can see it on the beads as well. So I've got a raised head position with my Monte Carlo style stock. I've got my lovely matte finish, and I've got this nice step up midrib, which helps me pick up the target. Yeah, as we move forward, like I say, we've been through the chokes. We've got the forend sight underneath. There we go. We've got a bit more gold. Just the right amount. I like a black action gun with just a few little highlights and stuff in. Forend catch. Yeah. Let's take it to pieces. So, in the forend, We've got a lump in there, so if ever our gun was starting to come loose, we can tighten it up there with an interchangeable lump on the fore end, which is very good. There we go. And then we've got the Zoli barrels. Really nice durable finish, this. Very simple ejector system. Tried and tested Boss locking bolt system. Apparently, yeah, the highest pressure that they've got at the Italian proof house before it's gone out of what they deem safe. So at the proof house, when they're testing the guns and they put larger loads in, and when it basically becomes out of tolerance, that's fail proof. Apparently Zoli are the holders of the highest pressure before they burst. So yeah, very impressive. And also Zoli are silver soldered barrels. So the rib, the ventilated side ribs, on some guns they're, I'm going to say Parazzis and things like that, are silver soldered on. And probably in the UK that is absolutely not a problem. In your warmer countries, or in countries that tend to get through a higher volume of cartridges, the tin solder basically can go soft and you can have ribs coming unstuck. And Zoli very cleverly worked out a way of silver soldering, which is much harder. It really sticks them together. Silver soldering the barrels and the ribs on without distorting them, which is very important. Like I was saying, I have had one gun in the past, and it was an over and under and not side by side, and the barrels weren't very true to each other. One was pointing one way and one was pointing slightly the other. So all this in construction, yeah, it's very important really. And obviously the higher grade guns, you know, the Berettas and the Zolis and all these other firms, you know, they're striving for perfection and they put in a lot of thought, and there's a lot technically that goes in. One set of barrels isn't necessarily the same as a set that looks very similar. So silver soldered barrels, so they're never going to come to pieces. We've got these recoil shoulders here on the bottom. Now then, yes, so if we look into the floor of the action, we can basically see that is where the recoil shoulders are on the lumps of the guns, and they engage, and basically when they lock in, they stop the barrels coming off face. I've made a couple of little videos and pictures just to try and explain this a bit more. It's quite important with the shotgun's longevity, and obviously when you start spending quite a bit of money and it's your pride and joy and you want it to last for ages and you want possibly your children to be able to use it after you, yeah, the longevity of it is important, and the recoil shoulders is basically what stops the gun from wearing fast and excessively. Yeah, so there you go. So this breeder, 1970s over and under, breeder makes some very nice guns nowadays. I quite like this gun, but this gun has not got recoil shoulders. So we've got the Kirsten style locking bolt at the top. But if we look in the action, we can see we have got no shoulders for the barrels to bite into to stop them from coming off face. So when the gun fires, the barrels are trying to come off face, and that is why we have recoil shoulders. Now I did think that these were recoil shoulders, but basically there's nothing for them to lock into on the bottom of the gun. So I've had a proper look. Yeah, so basically for longevity, a gun that would have its recoil shoulders on, then all of the load basically isn't going on to the trunnions or the pins. It's also got a mechanically locked up action, which this gun doesn't have. So that's just so you understand what I keep banging on about when I start talking about recoil shoulders. So here we have the Ilditz Pro. We'll just have a look at the recoil shoulders on this gun. So we can see the gun hinges on trunnions here. Now to take the recoil shoulders are in the lump here and here. These angled cutouts, and if we look in the bottom of the action, hoping you can see these, and that is the connecting, that's the interface that's stopping the barrels from separating from the face of the action. So she clicks in, and as you can see there, they slide in, and now when the gun is fired, the barrels can't come away from the face, not only because of the trunnions, because of the recoil shoulders. So the recoil shoulders on a Beretta is basically this part of the action. So we can see the machined curved slope cutout down, and then we can see this lump here on the side of the barrel wall. So when the gun is closed, that now is against this fence. So not just the pins are taking the recoil, and again the gun can't separate forwards because the recoil shoulder on the Beretta is stopping it from coming off face. One of the reasons I chose the Zoli was it's very close to my Ilditz Pro Black that I now use as my game gun. So two very similar guns, not too much of a change for me. I have shot game with the Zoli, but there you go. Right, let's get this back together, get the snap caps in it, and I shall start to take the trigger out for you, and we can have a look at that. Snap caps in. Now, in theory, you could dry fire this. It's got the bushers and the fancy firing pin assemblies in the Zoli, but we've got the snap caps in. So we're going to use those. Lovely triggers. 3.5 pound of trigger pulls on this gun, and I'm sure most of you all know, but if you don't know, Zolis are famous for their fantastic trigger pulls, and great machining. So yeah, brilliant triggers. Right then, there we go. So we've got the little orifice down here. Get out the little red key. Okay, and we shall take out the trigger. There we are, I think that's undone. Now I think we can take the safety catch back. And there she comes, straight out. Look at that. Let me get everything set out a little bit better here. Let's move that to one side. I've got my little cloth with me, we'll just give that a wipe. It's obviously got some nice lubrication on it. Look at that. Absolutely Bobby Dazzler. So you can see all the parts, we can get to them and we can clean them. We've got nice little Z's there on the hammers and the sears. How good is that? Yeah. Top banana. So worth noting is the Zoli is a monolithic action. So if you look here where it's cut out for the trigger assembly, and on the top of the action, on some guns these are welded on. In the Zoli, famous for the durability, they're actually all machined out of one block. So this strap here and underneath here, that's not added on, that's machined out at the factory, and they only make this one action, and it's a very good one. So let's get it back together and put the triggers in it. Let's flick the safety catch forward on reassembly. Now it's got a little bit of a notch here that we slide in, so we're going to slide that in there. Push down till it clicks in. It's got a little ball bearing that clicks in, and then basically we just tighten it down, and there shouldn't be any resistance. So if we start thinking, hey up, this feels like something's about to go twang, that's wrong. There we go. Quick demo. Excuse me. Ooh, ejectors. Plonk. Oh dear. There we have it. Absolutely fantastic. Detachable triggers are back in. I think it's a top design, that. So, like I say, if you got absolutely soaking wet, or you know, you wanted to go in there every now and again for a bit of a clean, if you had any problems, you don't have to undo the stock. I think that's a very sensible solution. What else can I say about this gun? Oh, let's talk about balance. So, there we go. Just a little bit, ever so slightly, tail. And I've done that by putting my vented titanium, they're very light, the chokes. And that's just moved in. Now this is an 8 pound 6 ounce gun. It's a big clay gun, and like I say, I've spent a lot of time shooting much smaller, lighter guns, and so I like the weight to be either bob on in the middle, but when I start getting something a bit bigger, I do like just to be able to bring it back a little bit, and I find it's fantastic. I find target acquisition is better for me with the mid-rib. This gun, the recoil is absolutely fantastic. There is very little recoil. My friend had a go with it the other day, and he was gobsmacked and flipped. So basically, the deeper the action, if you have a deeper action, the recoil tends to be higher up and not as in a straight line with the shoulder of the shooter. So you're getting a lot more pitch upwards. So a nice shallow action, it's a lot better for flip, and obviously that helps you acquire the next bird. And even before 10 and things like that, I've noticed on my 410, you can get on the second bird really quick because the gun doesn't move. And this gun doesn't recoil much at all. It is very good, and you could shoot many, many rounds. And they're very, very popular in America. Not so much in the UK. I don't know why. Well, I looked at this gun, and obviously Beretta have flexed out their SL3. Now, when I look at their SL3 and their SL2, I see a Zoli. I look at the Boss style closing system, and where the recoil shoulders are in a new Beretta, or their top of the range gun, their new Ultra gun in the SL2, and I see a lot of Zoli-esque sort of design really. And when I was choosing this gun, I thought, I don't want a lot of recoil. I want a nice low profile action. I want a gun that I can shoot a lot of clays with. I don't want to spend £12,000–13,000. So when I looked at what was available on the market, I thought, a gun to shoot a lot of clays with. My next competition gun, I want a mid-rib, £4,700. I thought, I can't go wrong with this. And yeah, I've been shooting it quite well. I've got a nice piece of wood, lovely palm swell, lovely rib, fantastic mechanics. The only thing that you could probably say is in the UK, the resale value on Zolis isn't great. I think just people don't know about him. It didn't worry me at all. I thought, you know, the UK, I suppose, compared to the US, the people in the US, as I say, the norm, they'll be shooting more cartridges than people like me in the UK. So in the USA, they'll have a lot more ammunition, they'll do a lot more shooting, they'll put a lot more rounds through the gun in the course of the year. They're buying Zolis, they think they're a good gun. You look at the engineering and look at the gun and how it's made. Silver soldered barrels, Boss locking system. Fantastic gun. There's absolutely the triggers, good trigger. There's no reason, you know, why this gun second hand shouldn't be as worth as much as any other. On the plus side, if you're looking for a second hand Zoli, I would think you're getting an absolutely amazing gun for the price. It did put me off buying this. I thought, I'm going to buy that because that is a lot of gun for the money. And like I say, when you start talking Blazer, Krieghoff, DT11s, that sort of price bracket, then, and you look at this Zoli M Sport, I've got a mid-rib gun, detachable trigger, you know, serious competition gun that'll will last a long time and do all those things, and it's nice to shoot. So thank you very much for joining me for this review of this Zoli M Sport. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and join me again. I think we'll find something else to have a look at, and maybe some videos we made. Have a good weekend. Bye.